If you feel under pressure every time you need to speak English, this video is for you because I'm gonna give you 5 tips so that we can change that. Coming up. Hey student, I am teacher Prix and I help students talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Thank you so much for watching this video. But now let's talk about the reason why you're here. You are under pressure. You feel nervous. It's time to speak. You don't have much time and you feel like you can't do it. What can you do to change that? The first thing you need to understand, the first tip that I'm going to give you in this video is more connected with your emotional aspect of the learning process. In conversations, you feel under pressure because you believe people around you will be micro-analyzing every little word you say, every mistake you make. When in reality, that's not true. They are not going to do that. You are doing that. And the more you do that, the more you have that mental talk, that internal dialogue, where you are saying to yourself, oh, this is wrong, I don't know that, or what am I gonna do, oh, I can't do that, oh my goodness. The more difficult it'll be for you to have any conversation in English, anywhere, anytime. One thing that you need to understand is, in this moment of pressure, you are probably creating that pressure. Your emotions are winning. The things you're thinking in your head, the feeling of not being good enough or feeling like your English is not good enough will be constantly bringing you down. Of course, we have language strategies and activities to do to improve your communication skills, but when it comes to pressure, it's emotion, and we need to understand that in the learning process. This is something that I constantly talk about with my students in my program. We have the language aspect, the things you need to learn, the improvements you need to make, and we also have the emotional aspect. Because if you don't work on how you feel, you don't get better, no matter how hard you work. So my tip number 1 for you is stop torturing yourself. Stop having this mental torture that you cannot speak, that you cannot do it. And that leads me to tip number 2. Because, okay, just feeling positive, I am okay, I am good, I am confident. Well, that's not going to help you either. When you have a job interview or you are talking to someone on the street, you need to do more than just, I'm calm. No, you need to speak. You need to learn vocabulary. So here, depending on the situations, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, we also need to find the right preparation. If you don't prepare for success, you're preparing yourself for failure. That's why in your study plan, in your routine, you need to come up with ideas that will help you prepare for the situations where you feel under pressure. And that can be very personal, depending on the person watching me. For example, let's say you are a professor and you are now giving lessons in Canada. Well, that's a different situation. You may feel under pressure in those moments. So here you need to have a different kind of preparation if I am thinking of someone that needs to prepare for a job interview and they feel under pressure in those moments, or a receptionist that needs to answer the phone every day, she needs to have a different kind of preparation. That's what I mean, that it's personal. It depends on the situation when you feel under pressure. And that is connected with the language aspect. First, we talked about emotions. Now we move on to tip number 2 and we focus on preparation. And that is connected with the language, the exercises, the practice, the vocabulary, the listening comprehension. By preparing yourself the right way, by following a good study plan, a good study routine, and if you need a recommendation of a study plan, check the description of this video. I have a very interesting study plan that you can follow. By studying specific activities that will help you communicate, because yes, even if you are alone, you need to speak English. You need to practice your English speaking. especially in those circumstances. Identify the moments you feel under pressure. For example, every time I go to my family's house and I need to talk to my son-in-law, I feel under pressure. So that's a moment when you need to prepare yourself. Casual questions, informal questions, small talk. Maybe you don't feel comfortable to have small talk with family members. That's why it is important to prepare yourself. Watch videos that will help you understand what kind of questions you can ask, how you can express yourself, how you can guide the conversation in a way that you feel more relaxed, more under control. Okay, so this is something you could think about. If you are under pressure when you need to answer the phone, then you need to work on listening comprehension and specific activities that will improve your comprehension. So duration of the activity, the kind of audio clips that you listen to, but also the communication, questions you need to ask, interruptions you need to make, the specific vocabulary that you need to know in case talking on the phone is difficult for you. Tip number 3, well, I kind of gave you a spoiler already. Analyze the situation. In tip number 2, I talk about preparation. And I kind of went ahead and I already described a little bit of tip number 3 because these two tips, tip number 2 and tip number 3, are connected. You prepare yourself based on the situation. Analyze the situations when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel under pressure, and try to identify what is happening over there. Is it emotional? You feel afraid of talking to the person because that person is important. You feel guilty because you think you're not good enough. And maybe your English is not in the level you want. But that doesn't mean you need to reduce your quality of having a conversation. If you are at that company, if you have that job, or if you are in that place, it means you deserve to be there. So enjoy. Don't feel sad just because you don't have the vocabulary comprehension you want to have at that moment, but you don't. There are specific strategies you need to follow. But if you bring yourself down, you will not improve. So what is the situation that makes you feel under pressure? Is it because you want to impress a family member? Like, hey, I'm awesome, but you can't do it because you feel nervous? Is it because you work at a hospital and people are sick and they need to talk to you about their pain and their problems, so you feel like, oh, I am responsible for these people? So identify what makes you feel under pressure. Or is it because of my pronunciation? So people, I think nobody has ever said anything, but in my head, I'm constantly thinking of what they will feel, what they will say about my pronunciation limitations. Because we're not native speakers, we always have limitations. So these thoughts, these things we constantly think about. Tip number 4, a little bit more active. If you want to feel confident when under pressure, you need to practice that. And a very good way to do it is to do mirror work. Basically, what is that supposed to mean? As you can see here on the screen, a mirror. You're going to look at a mirror and you're going to practice speaking. Yes, you know, some people, some students of mine who have practiced this told me they felt weird. Teacher, that is weird, looking at a mirror and speaking English. Yes, but you are imitating the moment, okay? Some students don't like to listen to themselves. They don't like to listen to their English. Looking at yourself, right there. Well, that's a very interesting experience. Many people cannot do it. So this is a good moment for you to practice asking questions, describing things about yourself, maybe describing professional experiences, maybe giving a presentation, making a presentation, maybe an academic presentation or a business presentation, maybe doing small talk, you know, asking some casual conversations, maybe working on paraphrasing, trying to explain something that is difficult for you that you don't know how to say in English, but working around and finding different ways to express yourself in those situations. These are all incredible activities that you can do in front of a mirror. If you don't want to use a mirror, you can grab your phone, you know, place it right here and record yourself speaking. And after that, watch it. I do that all the time. I watch all my videos so that I can see, oh, what am I doing well? What do I need to fix? What do I need to improve? These are very important practices that will help you prepare for pretty much many different kinds of situations. I know it's not the real life thing, but as I said, we need to prepare, and mirror work can be very beneficial. Tip number 5, again, I'm giving spoilers. I'm going ahead of myself. Tip number 5 is to learn to paraphrase. In most conversations, regardless of your English level, whether you are a pre-intermediate, intermediate speaker, advanced speaker, fluent speaker, teacher, you will always bump into someone and have no idea how to say a specific word. And then you can be like, oh, how can I say that? I don't know how. This is the moment when you need to work on paraphrasing, because the reality is this. It is what it is. We don't know all the words in English, and we never will. That is to say, you should be working on speaking strategies that will help you speak in spite of not knowing the words. So let's say I don't know how to say this in English. Y'all, nail polish. By the way, I know how to say it. It's just an example. But I would need to work on paraphrasing, explaining what this is. I can start with basic words that I don't know, and I try to explain. Then I can move on to more complex things, maybe ideas, maybe concepts, maybe verbs, maybe actions, maybe emotions. This will help you prepare for a moment when I don't know that word. What am I gonna do? Paraphrase. This is a moment when you shouldn't feel under pressure. I don't know a word. That's the end of a conversation. What am I gonna do? You paraphrase. This is the best way for you to communicate. That's what I mean when I tell you students, I'm teacher Prix, and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. When you learn to paraphrase, you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, because you let go of that idea that you need to know all the words, and you begin to work on structure, on a skill to help you describe the things you need, describe the things you feel, so that you can communicate with pretty much anyone in any situation. The reason why I like giving this tip to you guys is a few months ago I got this email from a follower, and basically she said, teacher, every time I need to speak English at work, I cannot speak continuously. I always get stuck. I feel very nervous, I feel under pressure, and the words disappear. I don't remember how to say specific words, and because of that, I feel under pressure and I don't know what to do. In this situation, what I told this follower was, probably I don't know you well. I would need to talk to you. But there is a very good chance that in that moment, you're trying to think of a very advanced way to express your ideas. And when that doesn't happen, you feel frustrated and nervous and anxious because you couldn't do it. So my biggest recommendation for that follower was, make it simple. Make it simple. Simple always wins. Simplicity is what perfection is. You're perfectly imperfect. So if you can express your ideas in a basic way, the focus is communication. That's what fluency is at the end of the day. If students get too stressed about the environment, they think that because they are at a meeting or at a university, they need to use very, very polished language. Well, that is lovely. I would love you to do that. But if you don't remember, then we have to go back to the basics. Communication, being clear. And that's why paraphrasing is so important. If you're constantly including paraphrasing in your routine, you will get better at that. And with time, whenever you feel like you are in a moment when you don't know a word or you are under pressure, you will use the paraphrasing technique automatically. But you gotta get started. If you never implement this strategy on a consistent basis, you will never really get at that level when you feel like, oh, okay, I don't know how to say a certain word or a certain expression, but I know how to express myself. That's what communication is all about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!